The NBA play-in tournament is set as the Philadelphia 76ers will host the Miami Heat on Wednesday night at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Winner gets the 7th seed, and they will advance to the NBA playoffs to take on the New York Knicks. So if you want the 76ers to beat the Heat, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. Let's preview this game. Let's talk about a Joel Embiid injury update and Philadelphia signing Ricky Council to a contract. Let's do it. Hope all of you out there having a great weekend, a fantastic Sunday. Thank you so much for hanging out here with us here on 76ers Now. I'm Chase Sr., and here's the rundown. We're going to preview this play-in tournament game against Miami, that Joel Embiid injury update, and we're going to talk about Ricky Council. The deadline for Philadelphia to sign him so that he would be eligible for the playoffs Sunday. They get the deal done. Does Daryl Morey on Saturday. As for the latest on Joel Embiid, game number 82 today in the regular season as it wrapped up for all teams across the NBA. And surprisingly, Joel Embiid did not play in the regular season finale. This came after Friday's win against the Orlando Magic, in which Embiid tried that Euro step. He came down awkwardly on that bad left leg, went into the locker room immediately, came back for the second half, and Nick Nurse thought that he was going to play against Brooklyn. Then he did not. John Clark on the scene, NBC Sports Philadelphia, saying this: I'm told Joel Embiid sitting out the regular season finale is precautionary, and he is expected to be ready for the Sixers in the next game. Now, he obviously said that before the Sixers took on the Nets in the regular season finale. We are hoping that the Milwaukee Bucks were going to beat the Orlando Magic, and with the Magic loss and Sixers win, they wouldn't have been in the NBA play-in tournament. But of course, Glenn Rivers lost a huge game. According to Nick Nurse, more clarification here that Embiid will play against Miami. But on the negative news front, as far as the Sixers injury report, we are not sure what the status is going to be of two-way player Embiid and Melton. Nick Nurse saying his health, his issues, concerning. It's going to be a journey for him to play on Wednesday. That back is in a precarious spot. I wonder if Embiid and Melton, unfortunately for him, going into a free agency offseason, might have to undergo surgery on that back, because he tried to come back, played a couple of games earlier this year, and then was shelved for a while, comes back again the other night, and now he's not able to play on Sunday. That's not good. Sixers need a two-way player like that. Very good defender, solid offensive player throughout a playoff run if they want to make it deep, and this is the best Sixers chance that they have, I think, of making a deep run in quite some time with how things have kind of fell in the Eastern Conference standings. Ricky Council, he is here to stay, and we kind of put this on the wall a couple of days ago saying, look, there's a deadline coming up. Could the Sixers be looking to sign him to a regular NBA contract? He has certainly earned it. It looks as though he can be a solid rotation piece. And even if he turns into a solid rotation piece, with Philadelphia figuring to go big game hunting this upcoming offseason with the most cap space in the NBA, this deal could end up being a great value deal for Philadelphia. And I like what Daryl Morey has done here. First of all, he's giving money to a player who has earned it, but you're stacking up your bench with reliable depth and a young player who I do think has potential and has displayed potential for this team. Shams Charania saying that the 76ers converting the two-way guard and forward Ricky Council on a new 4-year, $7.4 million contract. I love how Ricky Council, sports agency, young money. Shout out to Lil Wayne. His numbers this year for Council: the fourth, minutes per game, 9.1, points per game, 5.5, rebounds per game, 1.4, field goal numbers, solid, 48.2%, three-point numbers, 35.5%. What really impressed me about what Council was able to do, sometimes he was a DNP, coach's decision. He wouldn't play, and sometimes he wouldn't play for a large stretch. But when Nick Nurse, because of injuries or because of the rotation or given the opponent and what lineups he wanted, he'd throw Ricky Council out there. And it seemed as though he was always ready to play, has some spring in his legs, good athlete, and if he continues to refine his offensive game, he can be a very solid player at the NBA level. Good for him. So congrats, Ricky Council. Proud of the kid, man. He certainly earned this type 16 his jersey number down in the comment section right now. As for the NBA playoff picture, it is officially set, and we now know what the first round matchups are going to be in the East and in the West. Boston Celtics, we knew that they were a shoo-in to win 60-plus games and lock down that number one seed. They go 64-18 home court advantage going through Boston, top seed in the East. And then things changed for the 2, 3, 4, 5 spots as the New York Knicks catapult up the East. They have locked up the number 2 seed, so the winner of Philadelphia-Miami will play New York. Joel Embiid has dominated the Knicks throughout his NBA career. Milwaukee Bucks fall to the 3 spot. Cavaliers lost to the Charlotte Hornets in the regular season finale. That team is so fraudulent, they stank. Orlando Magic 5 seed, and then the Indiana Pacers 6 seed. So right now, the matchups that we do know, Bucks, Pacers first round, and then Cavaliers, Magic first round, and then the NBA play-in tournament. Sixers, Heat, Bulls, Hawks. The loser of that 7-8 will then play the winner of the 9-10, then the winner of that game will travel to Boston for the first round next weekend. So the stage is really set for Philadelphia to take advantage of this great opportunity that they now have right at their fingertips. They are the better team as compared to the Miami Heat, but that doesn't always result in the Sixers winning games in playoff series, and it doesn't always result in teams in general winning these games. One game against Jimmy Butler and Miami. The 76ers open up as 4-point favorites. Some books have them as 5-point favorites. I don't like that. It worries me. Again, the Sixers are the better team. You don't have Nick Nurse, or you don't have, Eric Spoelstra going up against Glenn Rivers, which I would just give and hand over the win to Miami. Eric Spoelstra, Nick Nurse, a great matchup. Philadelphia, when healthy, has fared well against Miami this year, but the pressure is going to be on at the Wells Fargo Center. So coming up next, we're going to continue to preview this game. Keys to the victory coming up. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Today's show, by the way, is sponsored by Factor Meals. If you're looking for delicious meals that are healthy for you, that allows you to save time. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You don't have to meal prep. You don't have to worry about cleaning up. If all of that sounds good and you want to save some dough, Factor Meals is where it's at. 50% off using the code SixersChat50. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal, chef-crafted, dietitian approved, ready to go in just 2 minutes. You'll have over 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. What are you waiting for? Get started today and get after your goals, ladies and gentlemen. Flexible with your schedule. Factor is the perfect solution. You sign up and save. No prep, no mess. 2-minute meals. And they taste good. So go to factormeals.com/SixersChat50 and use the code SixersChat50 to save today and to get these savory meals on your plate. Keys to the victory for Philadelphia. Wednesday night, Wells Fargo Center, NBA play-in tournament, national television. Pressure's going to be on, and usually the Sixers have cratered to that pressure, and Jimmy Butler has risen up amidst the pressure. You can't let Jimmy Butler go off. He is the head of the snake. You have to cut off the head of the snake, and he's going to want to break the hearts of Sixers fans. He's going to want to prove to management that it was a mistake not to sign him to a contract extension, even though it was a different regime with Elton Brand, who's still at this front office, but I say that meaning Daryl Morey wasn't the head of basketball operations, and prove to everybody that he's so much better than Tobias Harris. His numbers this year, solid. 21 points per game, nearly 50% from the floor. A career high, I believe, 41% from three-point range. But his numbers always get better in the NBA playoffs because he becomes the more ball-centric player. He's the one who goes for the kill shot. He takes a lot of shots, takes advantage of those opportunities. He seizes the moment and always comes through seemingly in the clutch, winning big game after big game. And he's the one who cuts the head off of the opponent, especially some of these top seeds. Those playoff numbers last year, so good en route to the NBA Finals, 27 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, makes his teammates better. 47% from the floor. You know he is going to want to silence the crowd at the Wells Fargo Center more than anything, and you just can't allow him to get going. I hope that Nick Nurse is able to come up with and draw up a great defensive game plan to focus in on him and force everybody else to beat you. Key to victory number 2 is just being a healthy ball club and then getting a dominant showing from Joel Embiid, which sometimes for Embiid has been hard to do going up against a very athletic player in Bam Adebayo, a Miami Heat team that likes to trot out a zone defense, which we even saw about a week and a half ago at this point. That flustered the Sixers offense in that second half, allowing Miami to come back. They'll throw a lot of double teams toward Embiid, and he struggles in those scenarios and in those situations. We know that he is a great regular season player. What he did this year, I thought he was the MVP of the league. If he could have reached those designated games played in order to be in the running for the MVP award. He did not. He only played 39. He came off that knee injury. Philadelphia's not lost since. They're the hottest team in basketball. But when the playoffs happen, that's when Embiid's struggles start to come to the forefront. Whether he's not in shape, he's injured, or he just struggles in the pressure cooker. 35 points per game, 11 rebounds, 53% from the floor, 39% from three. All of that is great. But all of that does not matter if Embiid does not win this game. You win this game, and you pit yourselves up against the New York Knicks. And let me say that a Knicks-Sixers first-round series is going to do great ratings. It is going to be a phenomenal matchup, and it's a matchup in which Philadelphia can win. Joel Embiid has dominated against New York throughout his career, and you win that playoff series after you win this play-in tournament game. What happens in the second round? You avoid the Boston Celtics, and you have a favorable matchup right in front of you. Embiid needs to own Bam Adebayo, and he needs to go after his throat, and he needs to understand that his legacy is on the line, especially as he continues to get a little bit older. Bam is a fantastic player. He has now added a three-point shot to his arsenal. So good on both ends. And Embiid against Bam, we looked at the regular season numbers for Embiid this year, well over 30 points per. His playoff numbers always down from his regular season numbers. And Embiid's numbers against Bam, they go on the down slope, 23.5 points per game. 10.5 rebounds, 49% from the field, which is good, and 39% from three, no doubt. The production goes down. It does help Embiid that you now have Tyrese Maxey, who was a superstar down the stretch against the Heat in that must-win game. Got to contain the Heat from three. This offense stinks. The Miami Heat offense is dreadful. It is tough to watch. They go on these spells in which they can't buy a bucket. And the only way I think the Heat win this game, amidst our keys to victory, Butler goes off, Embiid is terrible, and then they're just in fuego from downtown. The Heat have three players who you really have to focus in on who like to take a lot of three-pointers. Jimmy Butler just has never been a guy who takes that many threes. Terry Rozier, almost 7 attempts per game, 36%. Tyler Hero, almost 8 attempts per night, just under 40%. And then Duncan Robinson, that's what he's paid to do. 7 attempts per night, almost 40% from three. Miami, 21st in offensive rating among 30 teams. When I said that they were not good and have not been good offensively, I meant it. The numbers back that up. If you give them easy looks, though, they will take advantage. And last year, they literally had the worst offense in the NBA. They still made it to the NBA Finals. Point number 4, Tyrese Maxey, you got to keep cooking. And if the Sixers want to get out of this choking phase in which they come up small in some of these big moments, are we ushered into a new era now with Tyrese Maxey helping to lead the charge alongside Joel Embiid with Nick Nurse as the head coach. That's what I am hopeful for. Maxey made that leap that we were asking for, clamoring for, that we were foreseeing happening. I predicted it here on the show, that he could take that Jamal Murray-like leap. And if he did, if Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray can win an NBA title, then if Tyrese Maxey took that next step, Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid can compete for a title. 26 points per game. The Heat had no answers for him down in South Beach recently. 45% this year, 37% from three. And that's so impressive because of the volume there and him having to shoulder the load when Joel Embiid was hurt so much throughout the regular season. Maxey against the Heat this year. He has fared very, very well against Miami. 4 games played in total, 27 points per game, above his season average, 8 assists, so he's done a great job of creating for himself, but also opportunities for his teammates. He's also rebounded the basketball really, really well. And then point number 5. This is what the Heat are going to do because they are inferior as far as talent, and they're an inferior basketball team. They're going to try to muddy this game up. They're going to try to make it grimy. They want to slow it down. They don't want to let the Sixers get out in space and run, and they want to beat up Philadelphia. They want to get in their heads, and they want to be more physical. Now, the Sixers this year have been known to be a pretty physical team too. Can they match it? And if the Sixers go down early and the crowd at the Wells Fargo Center goes silent, and then in previous years when the Sixers have gotten tight, they floundered. They can't let that happen again. Miami will slow things down. They're going to get physical. You can't let them control the tempo of the game and then in turn control the Sixers' psyche. Miami is coming into your building, and you can't let them beat you up. So with that, let's bring in producer Chip here. Final thoughts. Confidence in the Sixers to take care of business at home against a tough Miami Heat team. The Sixers have not fared well against Miami in some of these playoff series and in some of these playoff moments. But that was when Philadelphia did not have Nick Nurse. That was when Philadelphia, I don't think, was as well-rounded as they are right now. They should win this basketball game.
They absolutely should, and they have to come out in this game and set the tone early. This is at home. When you have Embiid, you are one of the best teams in the league. Your record this year with Embiid is right up there with the likes of the Celtics. You cannot let this Heat team, who has been up and down the whole year, inconsistent, losing to bad teams, you cannot let them come in and just smack you around. Yep. I want to see this team, who I think has the best chance of any Sixers team over the last few years to win a championship. I want to see them set the tone. Don't let Jimmy Butler beat you. If you let Jimmy Butler come into Philly and make you have to play another game just to play the Celtics in the first round, you should be ashamed of yourself. When both teams are at their peak, if both teams are playing their best basketball, I think the Sixers are a better team. But you got to go out and you got to play like it. The Sixers have kind of been on playoff mode the past couple months anyways.
Yeah, no doubt.
Fighting for these spots, so I think they should be ready for it. I'm confident in Nick Nurse. I'm pretty confident the Sixers can win this game, but they got to go do it. They got to get over some of these playoff shortcomings they've had, and it all starts on Wednesday.
It's so funny, too, because I'm as optimistic about the Sixers faring well in the playoffs as I've been in a really, really long time. You have an elite coach. I really like the makeup and the construction of this team. They lose against Miami, and then it's just like, I'm done. Because then you have to play the Boston Celtics round 1, and I just don't see how Philadelphia would beat Boston. So with that, who you got? Wednesday night. We'll be doing a watch party for this game, by the way, right here on 76ers Now. Myself, producer Chip, live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat menu, PHI for the Sixers, MIA for the Heat. Hopefully the Heat are MIA in Philadelphia on Wednesday, and the Sixers can take on the New York Knicks in the first round.